All right, I'm an ISTP. Want to talk about other ISTPs I have met out in the world. So, a year ago, I went to get a haircut. There were two people working. I just went to some random place, and this older woman, she seemed very unfriendly. And then the other girl, ISTP, she was about maybe 30 years old, maybe. And she was more friendly. And the older woman, she did not look very competent. So I was like, okay, I hope I get the younger girl. I had not verified her type yet. I just I was suspicious. So then she took me to be her client. And when she went to wash my hair, I told her, I'm relieved that you're going to be doing my hair. Well, that opened up like, woo! She was like venting the whole time about her coworker, about how incompetent she is. And I was just like, oh my God, this is a mirror of myself. This is what it's like when I'm venting to people. I felt so uncomfortable because it's like, okay, this woman is going to do my hair. I don't want to tell her like, I don't want her to like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And then she's like, I'm going to mess up her hair. I don't know. Who knows? But I was just like, okay, she's having a rough day. I guess I could just like validate her and give her sympathy and stuff. But I was so uncomfortable. I could not wait to leave. And then of course her pride came out. She's like, but I'll give you a good haircut or whatever. Like, okay, sure. So that was super uncomfortable. I don't see ISTP women out in the world as much as I see the men. So I was kind of excited about it, but then I was like, okay, definitely want to keep like distance between me and other ISTPs, because it's just, when you're a lot alike, it's just, you're eventually going to clash. It's just going to happen. So then there was a male ISTP. He was like a teacher role, and had a good teacher student. I felt like one of the favorite students because I'm a good student. But I heard stories of like FI demon type behaviors. It's not that he was a bad person, not at all, but like, when you have like behaviors that cause problems with the law or something, nothing horrible, but I kind of lose respect in that way, because it's like, I don't know, when you share the same functions and you've like mastered your own or do really well with yours, and then you see someone else and you're just like no, like that's not okay, or like, I don't know, it's like you can be more judgy, I think. And oh goodness, so I did meet a sociopathic ISTP once online. It was like a dating situation. I think he was an Enneagram 5, and I was super excited because I was like, oh my God, an ISTP and a 5, like how exciting, he's so smart. And so I think it was like the second time, either the first time I met him or second time, I think it was the second time, I pulled out my notes on ISTP cognitive transitions from C.S. Joseph, and he let me share it with him. And I think he, after that, I think it freaked him out, like he felt too seen, and that's when his like unhealthy side kept coming out. And I asked myself, okay, I really don't want to be around a toxic person, but at the same time, I really value intellect. I really do. And so maybe I can like have a friendship with this guy and like learn more from him. But it's like, he just kept escalating his behavior. It was just like, he would cancel at the last minute and say, oh no, I'm gonna go have sex with a girl. I'm just like, okay. And then he'd accuse me of being jealous, and I wasn't. Like, really, I was literally only interested in like a real friendship, like learning, whatever. And then he would send me little videos of him having sex with a woman, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I mean, it didn't take long for me to just like block him, because it's like, you can't even have a friendship with someone like that. Like, I mean, that sucked. That was really unfortunate, because he was super intelligent and whatever. Okay. And then, so I met a family member of a patient. So funny, because she's, I don't know, in her 50s or 60s, married to an ESTJ, so that was interesting, golden pair. She had very stiff, very stoic, and then I found out later from different family that the brother said that, yeah, she doesn't ask for help. She doesn't really ask for help. Okay. That's a very ISTP thing, to not ask for help and like feel like you can handle everything on your own. ISTPs really need to learn humility, not just with your thinking. Like, just because it makes sense to you doesn't mean you're right. Like humility, even with like we have extroverted intuition trickster. Like, there's a whole world out there, like the metaphysical world, that we are not aware of. Anyway, yeah, ISTPs, try to be more humble. And then, okay, last year I met a 54-year-old ISTP. She was very pretty, very fit, very stiff in her movements, like almost like robotic. I remember being like that when I was younger. And I remember what she told me. She said she had been a caregiver for about 3 months now at this point. And she said, I finally found my calling. FE inferior. She finally found that. And then I found out, I don't know, 6 months later, because she wasn't there anymore. And I asked her INFJ boss, I was like, what happened to her? And then he told me what happened, and I was like, oh, I was totally wrong. I thought she had a really good character. And he's like, no, she did. It was just, she just became really entitled to have the shift she wanted. And it's my fault for spoiling her. Because I guess at the time they were low on caregivers. So he was like giving her all the shifts she wanted. And then when that changed, her FI demon entitlement, just, she got entitled. Yeah, so it was interesting to see my development versus hers. Not that it's like a comparison, but it's a comparison. I mean, as an Enneagram 4, I've spent a whole lot of time working on my inside. Like, I knew at a young age, if I'm going to be happy, I have to learn FE and FI. I mean, this is before I even knew what that meant, but it's like I knew that that's what I needed to do. Like, because there was a point where I was suicidal. I was depressed for 25 years, off and on, mostly on. And really the point where I took suicide off the table was when my son was 1 year old. Oh goodness, crying, don't cry. Okay, so he was sleeping, and I was going through a major depressive episode, and I had the idea in my head, okay, I could just slice open my arm and I'll bleed out and I'll die. And I thought about him and how, don't cry, how that would change his life forever. And how he would feel abandoned and couldn't do that to him. So that no longer became an option. Why do these things still make me cry? So anyway, according to C.S. Joseph, ISTPs are at the highest risk of ending their lives because of FI demon. And, you know, they don't value themselves. And my son, he became my reason to go on. He became my reason to try as hard as I could to be better, become better, be healthier. And and I've just been growing and growing ever since. So I know it's okay to cry, but like, I'm doing a video. I don't want to be like during the video. And I love my son so much, and so I've always tried to do right by him and give him a different upbringing than what my parents gave me. So did the best I could. I hope I think I've done a pretty good job considering he's such an amazing guy. He's an amazing kid. I know I definitely wasn't perfect, but I think I did a pretty good job overall, so good job. Anyway, so those are some experiences I've had with other ISTPs. And ISTPs, if you're struggling, just know that it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing to be depressed as an ISTP and have to go through that struggle. But there is a light. There's a light there. Hang on with your hope. Hang on to hope. You're smart enough to figure everything out. You are. You can figure anything out. So hang on with the hope and research like hell to find a way out. Like, there's going to be times where you just feel completely helpless and hopeless and like there's no way out, but there is. There's always a way out, and you don't have to end your life to find that way. So I'll have to make another video about how to do that, but